Imagine a world where the laws of financial gravity simply don't apply, where one man's tweet can erase billions in market cap or summon a cult-like following that defies every traditional metric of value. For over a decade, Elon Musk has sat atop a throne, built not just on steel and lithium, but on a narrative so powerful it has reshaped the global economy. But look closer at the foundation of this empire, and you'll find a precarious architecture of cross-collateralized loans, unfulfilled promises, and a valuation that treats a car company like a software giant. We are witnessing the Musk Paradox, the reality that the very genius who revolutionized space travel and electric vehicles may have built a house of cards so fragile that pulling a single card, a drop in Tesla's stock, or a failed launch at SpaceX could bring the entire structure crashing down. This isn't just about business. It's the ultimate high-stakes gamble, where the collateral is the future of green energy and the life's work of thousands. Tesla isn't valued like Ford or Toyota. It's valued as if it has already conquered the future, but the bridge to that future is starting to show deep structural cracks. The core of the paradox lies in the stock price. Tesla's market capitalization has at times exceeded the next 10 largest automakers combined, despite producing a fraction of the vehicles. Investors aren't buying cars. They are buying the Musk premium, the belief that Tesla is a robotics, AI, and energy company that just happens to sell wheels. But as legacy automakers like Volkswagen, Hyundai, and the Chinese titan BYD flood the market with high-quality, affordable electric alternatives, the car company, reality is catching up. The margins are thinning, the price wars are brutal, and the technological lead Tesla once held is evaporating. When the narrative shifts from revolutionary tech to highly valued car manufacturer, the math simply stops working. If Tesla is just a car company, its stock isn't just overpriced. It's a bubble waiting for a pin. And that pin is increasingly being sharpened by Musk's own hand as his attention is fractured across a dizzying array of ventures, most notably the chaotic acquisition and rebranding of Twitter into X. The financial entanglement between Musk's companies is the hidden glue holding the house together. But it's also the most dangerous vulnerability. Musk has famously used his Tesla shares as collateral to fund his other dreams. When he needed billions to buy a social media platform, he sold and pledged Tesla stock. This creates a feedback loop of doom. If Tesla's stock drops, banks could trigger margin calls, forcing Musk to sell even more stock, which drives the price down further, creating a spiral that could hollow out his net worth overnight. SpaceX, often cited as the stable, visionary sibling, isn't immune either. While it dominates the launch market, its capital requirements for Starlink and the Starship program are astronomical. It requires a constant, massive influx of cash. In this ecosystem, if one company bleeds, they all feel the pain. The synergy Musk touts, the idea that Tesla's AI helps SpaceX and SpaceX's materials help Tesla, is a double-edged sword. It creates a centralized point of failure, centered entirely on the reputation and stability of one man. Then there is the full self-driving promise, the carrot that has been dangled in front of investors and customers for nearly a decade. Next year has become a recurring meme in the Musk universe. Millions of dollars have been collected for software that remains, in technical terms, a level 2 driver assist system. If the public or the regulators finally lose patience with the beta status of this technology, the legal and financial liabilities could be catastrophic. Tesla's valuation is predicated on the idea that every car on the road will soon be an autonomous robotaxi, generating passive income for its owner and a cut for Tesla. If that doesn't materialize, if the AI wall is harder to climb than Musk admitted, then the majority of Tesla's projected value simply vanishes. The gap between the visionary rhetoric and the engineering reality is where the house of cards is most exposed. We see it in the Cybertruck, a triumph of branding over utility, a vehicle that symbolizes the push for the spectacular over the sustainable. The culture of Musk's companies is one of hardcore commitment. but the human cost is mounting. High turnover, safety concerns, and the constant threat of layoffs have begun to tarnish the brand's image as an aspirational workplace. At the same time, Musk's increasingly polarized public persona is alienating the very demographic that made Tesla a success: the environmentally conscious, tech-forward urbanite. For the first time, brand loyalty is wavering. People who once proudly displayed a Tesla in their driveway are now looking at the competition as a way to avoid the political baggage associated with the CEO. A brand built on a personality is only as strong as that personality is liked. As the Musk Paradox deepens, the genius label is being replaced in some circles with the label of erratic gambler, open corner bracket. The market loves a disruptor, until the disruption becomes unpredictable. Consider the macroeconomic environment. The era of free money and low interest rates, which fueled the meteoric rise of growth stocks like Tesla, is over. In a world of higher rates, investors demand profits and stability over promises and moonshots. The pressure on Tesla to perform as a mature, disciplined corporation is at an all-time high. Yet it is led by a man who thrives on chaos and first principles upheaval. This cultural mismatch is a friction point that generates heat, and that heat is melting the foundations of the Tesla gamble. The SpaceX side of the house is attempting to build a city on Mars, while the Tesla side is struggling to maintain its market share in a saturated EV market. The ambition is breathtaking, but the logistics are terrifying. If a recession hits, or if a major Starship failure occurs, or if the SEC decides the FSD marketing has crossed a line, the cascade effect will be unstoppable. This ISN to say Musk hasn't achieved the impossible before. He has. He dragged the auto industry into the electric age and made reusable rockets a reality. But the scale of the current gamble is different. It's no longer about proving a concept, it's about sustaining a trillion-dollar fantasy in a world of harsh realities. The Musk paradox is that his greatest strength, his refusal to accept limits, is also his greatest weakness. He builds at a speed that ignores the need for solid ground. Every time he doubles down, the stakes get higher and the cards get thinner. The house is tall, shimmering, and visible from everywhere, but it is vibrating with the tension of its own weight. We are watching a live experiment in whether a single human being can sustain a global industrial empire through sheer force of will and narrative control. If he succeeds, he's the greatest entrepreneur in history. If he fails, it will be the most spectacular collapse in the history of capitalism, a cautionary tale about the dangers of the founder-hero myth. As we look at the charts and the headlines, we have to ask, how much of this is real value, and how much is just the glow of a burning fire? The Tesla/SpaceX gamble is the ultimate test of the modern economy's appetite for risk. It's a story of visionaries, true believers, and cold-blooded short sellers, all staring at the same structure, seeing two completely different things. One side sees the future of humanity. The other sees a house of cards in a rising wind. The tragedy, or the triumph, is that both might be right. But as the wind picks up, the question isn't whether the cards are beautiful, it's whether they can hold. The Musk paradox is reaching its breaking point. And when the dust finally settles, the world will either be transformed or left picking up the pieces of a dream that was too big to stay upright. The gamble continues, but the house is starting to shake, and the world is watching, breathless, to see which way it falls. Everything is on the line. And for Elon Musk, that's exactly where he wants to be, even if the ground beneath him is nothing but air.